such sights to show you.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
I want to play a game.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was. This is God.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
But sometimes that is better.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Oblivion, as always. We are the Cinebytes, back to raise a little hell. I'm Dusty Lane. This is Jason Mitchell, and we are joined again today by Meghan Adara of the Cellar. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. So before we get into business here, how's life treating you in general? I think it's been about a year since we chatted, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good. The Cellar's obviously picked up quite a few awards,
Right, yeah.
which is good. We're still got the Indiegogo up. It's still in the festival circuit. And yeah, I'm working on some other projects as well. So yeah, it's been good.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Do you guys have a street date set for the Cellar yet? For like a wide release for America and everything?
I know we got distribution deals in
Okay.
America, Holland, some other places.
Very cool.
The US, but we haven't got a release date yet. So
Okay.
yeah.
So last time we talked to you, once again about a year ago, I think the Cellar was just about to wrap up filming, but still hadn't quite
Yeah.
been completed yet. We did
Yeah.
get a chance to catch the thing in its entirety since, and I have to say, yes, it's an indie movie, but I don't think it looks like an indie movie. It's
No.
extremely polished and professional. The
Mm.
cinematography is phenomenal. The score, everyone sells, everything they're doing as much as they possibly can. I was incredibly impressed.
Good. I'm glad that you thought it looked, high standard. That was obviously the aim,
Right.
Mhm.
to try and make an indie horror film that doesn't necessarily look like an indie horror. And
Right.
also I think it showed that even with a small amount of budget, you can create something that is high quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was obviously one of the aims. So I'm glad that that came across.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when I watched it because I was expecting maybe a little bit, closer
Yeah.
to like not quite a B movie scale perhaps, but
Mm.
I wasn't expecting it to be, what I perceived to be as a member of the audience, what looked like a big budget studio project.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I think it also helped obviously with the location thing and stuff.
right,
Some of the locations we filmed in was like obviously like spectacular.
right,
So yeah, I really do think that helped with making it look higher quality than, the budget we had.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, so obviously the movie hasn't been released yet, so I don't want to talk about anything spoilery. I don't
Mhm.
want to ruin it before it's had a chance to get out there, but I do want to talk about the movie as much as we can without spoiling anything. So, I do want to talk, for instance, about the cinematography in general as a whole.
Yeah.
The tone of this movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And specifically the cinematography, I got a lot of sort of a giallo film a little bit in parts of it because there's like a lot of play between shadow and light. There's a lot of dramatic, big colors everywhere, and
Mhm.
it's the entire movie is really visually striking from start to
Yeah.
finish.
Yes. Yeah. That was obviously to sell the story as well. That was one of Jamie's focuses. He really wanted it to look good, obviously quality, and spent a lot of time on it. He also, spoke to the DOP about what different colors could mean what. I mean, he researched into what different colors mean,
Hmm.
Wow.
like emotions and stuff. So obviously red means like horror, blood, etc. So like you'll see at the beginning of the film, it's kind of like got like a yellowy hue to it.
Yeah,
And
almost
as
like a
it goes through
somber.
the film, it's got like a reddish tone to it,
Yes.
Right.
to really add to like obviously what is happening in the scene as the story goes on. So that was one of his like biggest things that he like looked into to make sure that he got that across.
It definitely lends a lot to just an overall theme of dread, really.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And there's no reason not to, because by the end of the movie, you never really find your way out of that, you know?
No, no. I think from my perspective, I'm in limbo. I've been um I didn't want to join. I wasn't, up for what they were doing. And obviously they were trying to persuade me to do it. And yeah, I don't go with it. And they punish me by in my mind, keeping me in limbo between the life that they've created and real life. So I'm in the real life. I can see real life, but
Mm.
I'm not technically actually there. Like I can see everything that's going on, but no one can see me. So I'm forever basically like being tortured. So yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a twist I didn't see coming at the end there. So
Yes. Yeah. No, it was really good. Yeah.
So yeah, cinematography out of the way. In terms of score, I thought that
Mhm.
did almost just as much work as the cinematography in,
Yeah.
building that tension,
Mm.
creating that. It was a lot of it was quiet because a lot of it has to do with you sneaking around,
Yeah. Exactly.
trying to avoid the people that you're trapped in there with.
Mm.
So it is a very quiet movie, but in the moments where
Yeah.
there is a score, I think it's delivered really well in a very
Yeah.
dynamic way.
Yeah. Um, Christian, the guy who edited it, he also did the score for the film. So we had a screening on the 4th of June. No, not the
Okay.
4th of June. It was at the beginning of June. Oh
Sure.
my God, it's not even June, it's April. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Beginning of April. Yeah, beginning of April, with
I think
Brighton
since
Rock.
2020, no one really knows what time it is
I
anymore.
know. I've lost my mind. Yes, we had a screening at the beginning of April for the film, and it was just for the Cellar.
Mhm.
And we did a Q&A afterwards, and Christian and Jamie got to answer some questions about the editing process and the score. And Jamie and Christian disclosed that they would meet up, basically every day to work on the score. Jamie would send over some like ideas of what he wanted, when and where.
Mhm.
And Christian would, create something, send it over to him, or have him come over and listen to it and see what he thought. So yeah, it was very much a collaboration between those two. But I think Christian did a really good job. I mean, at the moment, it's got new sound, so what you might have heard will be different, I think, because it's been
Okay.
Oh,
upgraded. Sound's been redone.
Okay.
So yeah.
I
Hmm.
can't wait to
Cool.
see the polished product. Um, I'd like to move on a little bit to the special effects angle. Jason, you're a big gorehound guy.
hmm
What did you think of the overall? There wasn't a lot necessarily, but what was there, I think, was quality.
Yeah, I like you were talking about the tone and the colors and stuff. That's really what pulled me in the whole time was as the scenes got progressively more intense and you know what's looming coming after you, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the lights would change and
Mhm.
it's crazy. Like you said, I don't really want to spoil too much. I'm ready
Right.
for a big release, but yeah, I was on the
Mhm.
edge of my seat the whole time for there not
Good.
being a lot of visual
Yeah.
as far as like effects
They
happening. You
don't
just
go
had
far
Mm.
as Megan, do you happen to know whether primarily when there was special effects to be done, was it focused more practically or more CGI? I would guess
Uh,
practically
I'm
from the
not,
looks of things.
yeah, I think it was practically. I'm not really overly sure. I wasn't involved in, the editing side of things.
Sure.
But I would say practically, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I think what I did see, again, not much, but used sparingly can be just as effective, obviously.
Oh, gone, yeah.
And I think it was used really well here.
Yeah.
In
I think
terms
the
of
point was of making sure we didn't go too overboard.
right,
Um,
right.
so,
because a lot of especially indie movies can be guilty of doing
yeah,
that. That's
I
part of
think
what.
that's I think that's to get more of an impact and to get more of an audience.
Mhm.
Whereas obviously Jamie's film was quite unique in the sense of the different genres that were put together.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I think it was important for him to make sure that he didn't go too over the top,
Mhm.
and let the the psychological elements lead the story more than necessarily like jump scares and gore, etc.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. So if you show them a
exactly.
little bit in the beginning and then let them stew on it for a while, it builds the
Yeah.
anticipation. So in terms of the plot in this movie, again, we don't want to give anything away, but I think it's safe enough to say that the way that the plot device is framed here, there's a support group that there's a
Yes.
bunch of people a part of. And I
Yeah.
think that that is a really, really genius way to approach this,
Yeah.
sort of attacking already marginalized people and
Mhm.
preying on them almost and
Mm.
giving them the idea that there's no other option for them. This is the way forward for them.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that was really cool. It was a really cool way as well to break up the movie, to segment it some, because we
Mhm.
spend time with each individual member of said group, and it kind of
Mm.
tells their story and how they got involved in this until we
Yeah.
we wrap our way back around to you.
Yeah.
How invested in that storyline and how deep did
Mm.
emotion go while filming for you?
Yeah. So I wasn't on screen that much for those parts because I didn't have anything. My character didn't really want to disclose anything.
So mostly
Um,
filmed separately then?
no, I was there. I was sat in the circle watching everybody film. I just didn't have a
Mhm.
segment.
Oh,
So
sure, sure, yeah.
so I
Okay.
just sat around for a few hours watching them. But yeah, it was co-written with Jamie and another member of the group, and they had gone through some, you know, drug problems, some alcohol problems. So it was co-written by him. And he brought like real life insight into what an AA meeting is like,
Mhm.
what people would talk about. So when I was sat there listening to it and I wasn't on screen, I was genuinely like reacting to it. Like I think at one point
Right.
one person's made me cry just because
Oh,
it
wow.
just sounded so like real and believable because obviously it is. So yeah, it was I'd say it was a difficult scene to film. Obviously because of well, one member obviously has been through it. And two, I mean, the subject isn't the nicest of subjects, and obviously people have struggled. But yeah, I think it was a really cool way of, introducing the other characters, what role they had to play,
So
and how
was
they
was
ended up there.
was that particular scene filmed all together and then just edited in throughout the movie then?
Yeah, basically, yeah, it was all
Okay.
so we at the beginning we didn't have that scene in the script. Jamie
Mm,
just added it, because I'm not sure, but I'm assuming maybe he was like, where how do I introduce these characters to make sense for them to come in?
mhm.
Um, and that was the way that he went about it. So he just put it in the script one day, and we went and filmed it. And I was just like, I don't really understand, how this scene's gonna
I
work.
I really think it was the perfect
Yeah.
way to introduce to give us an excuse to explore each character individually. It
Mm.
allows us as the audience member to be drawn in and identify with these characters a little bit more, and
Yeah.
then be a little bit more emotionally invested when bad things happen to them, which of
Yeah.
course is going to. We're talking about horror here, obviously.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but it also allowed you, in that
Mm.
case, to sort of
Yeah.
be an audience member while
Yeah.
filming. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That was fun. Obviously I was just sat there, but I was watching everybody film. And yeah, it was nice to just sit back and watch people just do their, do
Right.
their bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
easy day
yeah,
today,
it was
actually.
pretty easy.
Not a bad day at the office, huh?
Exactly. So yeah, it was a good day to film. Yeah. Mm.
And, bringing the personal experience into it, they say write what you know, and
Mhm.
obviously, I don't know, that hits home for
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even if you've not been through it, you might know someone who knows someone else who's been through it.
Of
So
course,
yeah.
yeah. I think it's probably touched most people,
Yeah.
if not all in some way.
Mm.
Yeah.
100%.
So, wrapping up the cellar, what do you have coming up? I know we keep seeing stuff about Amelia.
Yeah. I'm in another horror film. Um, play the lead, Amelia. The synopsis is that a malevolent entity is living amongst these, people from a small quaint village in England. I describe them as like curtain twitchers. They know everything that goes on. They're very close community knit
Okay.
together. And suddenly some bodies start turning up and they don't know, what's going on, how this has happened, whether there's, a murder on the loose or
Mhm.
something else. And they basically, have to try and figure out what's going on before it's too late. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it's a different style to the Cellar. It's going to be more gory,
Right.
more jump scares. So yeah,
Awesome. I did
it's
see a
got
teaser or two floating out there, and it
yeah,
looks like we're dealing with a sort of a vampire story, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's got Neil James in it, who played Gabriel in The Cellar.
Okay.
So
Nice.
he's in it. So yeah, it's exciting. And Christian, not Christian, sorry. Um, Jay is the producer on the film. So
Okay.
yeah,
Very
a
cool.
couple of people from The Cellar, which is nice.
And you just started filming that at the beginning of this month, right?
Yeah, we started on the 4th of April. Yeah. So we filmed
Nice.
yesterday, and we're filming again tomorrow. So yeah, I've been putting up some behind the scene pictures
Right.
um to keep the audience, interested. But yeah, what we filmed so far is looking really good. And we all get on really well. And we're just having a really fun time, to be honest. It's just we're laughing all
I
the
guess that
time.
answers my next question. I was just going to ask, in general, how's everything been on set for the preliminary stages of it?
Yeah, it's
Is it,
been
as
brilliant.
comfortable as it was for the Cellar, and everything progressing along about at the same clip?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it helps having people from the Cellar on the set, and the director I've worked with before, so we know each other. But yeah, it's really nice to work with other people that I've not worked with before. And it's always nerve-wracking going in when you don't know people,
Right.
how you're gonna get on, how they're gonna think of you. But we've all just like really bonded and we all have a laugh together.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, we're just having a great time, to be honest. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm curious, how different are your characters, or how much different, I should say? They're obviously very different, but your
Mm,
characters in the Cellar, you were Abigail in that versus Amelia.
yeah. Um, I've said that she's similar to Abigail in the sense of the underlining mental health issues.
Mhm.
There are, I would say, similarities in that respect. But in other respects, obviously she is a vampire.
Mhm.
Obviously there's going to be a very different contrast to Abigail. I don't want to give away too much.
No, no, no. Of
But
course not.
yeah, she's quite different from Abigail. She's not as, um, vulnerable and
Mhm.
um, yeah, you know.
Abigail might have been vulnerable, certainly. I mean, there
Mm,
barely was a character in the Cellar that wasn't, but
yeah,
she was also very strong-willed and very resourceful.
yeah,
I know that
yeah.
in the beginning of that movie, after, we cut away and we find you in that cell,
Mm,
all of a sudden you have very little at your disposal, obviously,
yeah.
but you improvise and manage to find your way out so that you can sneak around. Basically, long story short, you just dismantle your undergarments and use the wire
Mm,
as, you pick the
mm,
lock and let yourself out.
mm.
So I thought it was really cool seeing Abigail in
Yeah, that
action.
was my favorite
Um,
one. Yeah.
as you were, going around the compound, it became
Mm.
sort of a cat and mouse thing where there's another entity, like a masked entity that kind of looked like Fulgore from Killer Instinct. But he's kind of chasing you around and you're avoiding him at
Mm.
every turn.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was in the middle of playing, Metal Gear Solid, trying to, complete the covert op. And
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
Mm.
just rooting for you the whole way. So even though I'm curious, even
Yeah.
though Amelia is a vampire,
Hmm.
why is she still why do we identify with her? Like, it would seem, to a
Mm.
normal from a normal perspective, that a vampire is bad, you know?
Yeah.
So why are
Um,
we rooting for you in this?
in this film, obviously, we have the elements of a vampire, but we're also trying to show the emotional conflict that a potential vampire would go through, like guilt about having to kill people to drink their blood,
Right.
and the mental effects and physical toll it has on on a vampire. So it's also making sure that there's humanity seen within the character, for the audience to obviously be able to identify with her. And ultimately, yeah, initially you might think that she's a bad person, but when you watch it, you might have a different reaction because of, how we portrayed the character, which is our aim, is to show the humanity within her. Yeah,
I would assume that at first glance you would say, vampire bad, whatever. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, no matter what vampire story you're talking about,
Mm.
ultimately they did start human. You
Yeah,
still have
exactly.
that
Yeah,
internal
yeah.
conflict. Yeah, that makes a lot of
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, I think in other vampire films, they very much focus on them at that present time, whereas we're also trying to show her mental space with being it
Yeah,
and
there's a history
how
to
she
it.
was before.
Mhm.
So getting those elements across, merging them together to make her more like human. What's the word? Human, I guess.
Yeah,
So you can
right.
identify with her in some way.
Right. So only a couple of weeks into filming, what's been your favorite part about it so far?
Probably yesterday. We were all just a little bit mad. We just all started just like giggling the whole day.
Okay.
Don't really know what happened. But yeah, yesterday was just really fun. Um, yeah, I can't give too much
No,
away.
no.
Yeah, it was just super fun day yesterday. We were all laughing with each other. I think we just lost it. So yeah, it was just a really fun day to shoot. Yeah.
Absolutely. Jason, you got anything?
Do you have anything else coming up that you're working on other than Amelia? Is there anything else just like on your schedule that you want to shout out?
I've seen a little
Yeah,
bit here.
sure. I'm in another feature, which is starting in July. I can't talk about it too much. I don't want to give the plot away. And I'm
This
in a
one's
couple
about
of
a vampire in a support group, and
yeah, no, it's different. Thank God. That one's not really a horror, it's more of like a thriller
okay.
drama. Um, and I'm in a couple of short films. One's about mental health, making people more aware of men's mental health and how it affects them.
Mhm.
Uh, and in a couple of TV series. So yeah,
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
yeah, nice, yeah.
So, what's the timeline on Amelia at this point? When do you expect to wrap up filming?
Um, Probably we're hoping to finish filming in the end of May.
Okay.
And then obviously it's got to go away for editing.
Right.
It probably take longer than the Cellar did because the Cellar was being edited basically the day that we finished filming a scene, so it was getting edited as we
Right.
went on.
Oh, wow.
Whereas Amelia won't be getting edited as it goes on, so it probably take a bit longer. So it probably will be out middle of next year sometime.
Okay.
Um, we want to put it through the festival circuit as well. So that's the plan. And yeah, yeah.
Whenever it does finish up, I hope it has the success that we've seen from the Cellar. Like as we mentioned, it's been cleaning up at the festival circuit,
Hmm. Yeah.
and deservedly so. So, yeah, well done. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and
Oh,
a
I'm
lot of
glad
other
you
people did
enjoyed
as well.
it. Me too.
So similarly to the Cellar, Amelia
Yeah.
does have an Indiegogo campaign going as
Yes, she
well,
does.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um,
what are we looking at in terms of perks, rewards, whatever, different
yeah.
tier?
So we got you can be an extra. You can come to set and actually be an extra in one of the scenes. We have a missing poster similar to the Cellar. You can have your face on a missing poster. We have a digital bundle, so that would be like the film, maybe like the script, and some other
Oh,
things.
cool.
Sure.
Um,
As I
a
recall, for the Cellar one, there was the widest range of perks I've ever seen, all the
Yeah,
way
we
from
have
being
got quite a few for Amelia.
right.
It's hard to remember them all. We got a message from Amelia, so like a video on set.
Hmm.
Um, we also have like an executive producer, associate producer.
Right.
You can have a signed copy of the script, a signed poster, and yeah, we'll be adding some more as well as we go along. But yeah, for
I
now, those
assumed it
are
was
ones I can remember.
sure. I assumed it was going to be basically like the Cellar was. Like it's perks ranging all the way from like, the producer
Yeah.
credit all the way down to
Yeah.
just a simple social media
Oh
shout out.
yeah, yeah. Social
There's a
media
wide
shout
range
out,
of things
thank
you
you,
can afford.
credits.
Now,
Yeah.
now, if I buy the extra perk, will you
Yeah.
guys fly me out there?
Probably not on the budget we have.
I tried.
But you can have your face on a missing post if you so wish.
That sounds great. You know what the best part of the Cellar was for me, actually? There were a lot of dramatic moments. It was amazing the entire way through. But bar none, the best part of the movie was, I think, about 2/3 of the way through the credits. There was Dusty Lane and Jason Mitchell and the Cinebytes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
I didn't think it was going to be that easy to break into the movie business, I got to tell you.
Exactly. So you should try on this one too. Hint, hint.
Right.
No, I appreciate the support, back and forth. Ever since we started talking back about a year ago, you guys have been nothing but great and supportive, and we enjoy working with you certainly. And
Thank you. You too.
I've enjoyed this interview as well. I hope you did
You
too.
too. Yeah. It's great to see you again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
of course.
Yeah.
Feel like maybe when we get the Cellar release, we'll do a full movie, and then
I would like to cover it like we do. Most of what we've done up to this point is all audio, and it's just in the podcast space, and it's
Yeah.
covering front to back an entire film, which I wanted to do with this one initially, but can't do that until it's released.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah,
So,
that'd
yeah.
be cool. Yeah, that would be nice.
well, we had a great time chatting with you. We wish you the best, of course. We hope you had a good time as well. And I think that's about going to wrap it up for us. Thank you as well, everyone, for joining us today. We had a good time. We all three had a good time. We usually say that at the end of the episode. We had a good time. We hope you did too. So, audience, we hope you did as well. And you wouldn't still be here at this point in the video if you didn't. So, I appreciate that. But of course, as always, Megan, why don't you tell us where people can follow you on socials and whatnot?
Yeah. I am on Instagram as Meghan_Adara, Facebook as Meghan Adara, and Twitter as I think Meghan_Adara. So as long as you find a blonde-haired girl in a red turtleneck, you know you got the right one.
Use some combination of the words Meghan and Adara,
And
and you
Adara,
should be
yeah.
okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you'll see all of our information at the end of this episode for the same information as regarding socials and all that. And thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll catch you next time. As always, dreams are fleeting. Only nightmares last forever. Follow nightmares.
Killer, Mommy! Killer!
I bid you welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Cinebytes podcast. If you like what you heard, follow us on our socials at Cinebytes Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and X.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. It really goes a long way in helping us reach more listeners.
You can stream the Cinebytes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and many more popular streaming platforms and YouTube.
Questions or comments? Suggestions for future episodes? Contact us at cinebytespod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the show and help us make it a better product for you, subscribe at cinebytespod.buzzsprout.com.
Until next time, keep following those nightmares.